Hello and welcome to today's video. This is your host Yuriku from Shadowdale. Today's video is a guide to completing the quest The Pit on Reaper 1 difficulty. To start off with, some of the buffs that I would recommend using in this quest are Jump, Night Shield, Shield, and Freedom of Movement. You can use Shield or Night Shield, whichever works best for you, and if you don't have that spell, there are items in the game that can help you get it, which you can locate on the wiki. Alright, so we're going to begin today doing this on Reaper 1 difficulty. And to start off with, you're going to have to make your way to the backup generators, which you can get to following the ramp that I'm about to show you now. So you're going to follow this ramp all the way up to the backup generators. It's a little bit of a run. And ahead of us, you're going to see these pipes that have acid that come out. You're going to want to avoid those. They cannot be disabled, and they don't provide a trap bonus. Once you get to the backup generators, you'll need to light up those runes that are on that back wall, and you'll do that by pulling the levers in the four corners of the room and defeating any enemies in the area. Make sure you also get all the breakables to help get ransacked by the end of the quest. And these are the runes I was describing earlier. Once you finish pulling on the levers in this room, you'll complete that area, and you'll need to go to light the first furnace, which you can get to by following my path here when falling. And this is a direct route to it in the southeast of the two main cylinder areas. You'll know you reached the correct area by having the only room that has the three lights, with the left one being yellow, signifying that it's open but not completed. When you turn this first corner here, you're going to have some enemies. Just be careful. You'll always want to take out the casters first because they cast some nasty spells. And then the warlords are the next big target. But do what you can to defeat them. And then there's some things you need to do on the first floor before we go up. I always start by clearing the first floor area here with the eggs, because those goes through the optional for breaking or destroying 25 eggs. And they also count towards your ransack towards the end. If you're interested in completing the optional objective at the end where you fight the avatar of Juiblex, you'll need to pull a valve that has a blue crystal to it in each section of the furnace, and there's 3 furnace sections. So we've pulled the first one. Now we're going to go up the ramp. Usually, I would recommend having a toon that has evasion, such as this character here. She is a arcane trickster. And I pull these valves to make it easier. You don't have to if you have evasion or you're comfortable completing the section with that on. It's not necessary, but it helps. And then to the right here, on this pipe here, you'll need to turn off the air jets to make it easier to move through here without any issues. This is also optional. You don't have to. It just makes it easier for you. You're going to then jump to this pipe here and cross it. There will be enemies that spawn, so be careful. Sometimes there's 2 there, but there was only 1 there this time. And I also try to deal with any of these enemies that I can right now, so that they don't bother me later. Another good buff to have in this one is resist energy, which I don't currently have at this level. But if you have allies or hirelings that can provide that, that greatly helps in this section. And you're going to continue and cross these pipes, deal with any enemies that are bothering you, such as that Fear Reaper. And then when I get to this pipe here, I jump across and use it to cross over, jump again to the right, and then pull this lever. Once you've done that, you're done with this area, and then you can move on to the pit's security traps. And I'll show you how to navigate to that section next. make your way back, just following the route you took to get into this room to the first furnace, and take a right. Here's where a lot of people get confused, but the path is pretty straightforward, and you just follow this path up until you get to the point where it has 2 different ramps, which is coming up here. When you go to the security pits from the first furnace, you're always going to want to cross over at this section here and take the second ramp, and that'll lead you directly to the pit security traps. And while I'm not using it currently, you can use sprint boost that you have, or if you have the Purple Dragon Knight past life sprint boost, that's also super helpful for you or companions if you're doing with allies. And you want to make your way to the security center, which is where we're at now. You'll have a few enemies to deal with on our left up here. And ahead of you, there'll be a couple enemies, and then we're going to start at the purple rune. So in the right section of the video, I've listed all of the different runes and how many turns you have to do. And on the left, I have the symbol that you're looking for, so you know it's correct. And then you can move on to the next rune. You can find these symbols scattered throughout this room here. I just have this for quick reference, so it's easier for everyone who's using this video as a guide. And as you see, blue, you'll need to turn 4 times to get to the symbol. Now you're going to have some enemies before you get to your next wheel, so you'll want to try and take all of those out so that you can turn the wheels in peace and not get ambushed. This wheel you only turn 2 times, as you can see on the symbol there. Oops, looks like I missed an enemy. I'm going to have to deal with him quick. The orange rune, you need to turn this 5 times, as shown by the symbol on the left. From here, I make my way up to the red rune, which is up the stairs. I'm going to go ahead and buff myself again and deal with the enemies up here before I start messing with the rune wheel. You'll need to turn red 4 times to get to this symbol. And then the final wheel is down at the bottom of this area, and it's the yellow rune wheel, which we're going to head to now. And this also requires 5 turns. So once you've completed it, you're going to see this text pop up on the screen, and it says, as the wheel slides into place, a loud pop comes from the center of the room, and this will signify that you've turned all the runes to the correct symbols. You'll want to deal with any enemies that are remaining on the ground floor and break all of the eggs as well. There is a chest that's in the water at that little circular section there. I skip it just because it doesn't have any named loot, and it just slows me down. But you're welcome to loot that if you want common loot or whatever's inside the chest. Now you'll navigate your way back up to the second ramp here, and the force field that was guarding the lever is no longer there. And once you pull this, you're finished with this room. And then you're going to make your way to the second furnace. However, now that you've finished this room with the security traps, the force traps will be active on the 2 central pillars for this quest. And there are ways to help mitigate the damage you can take, such as the path I'm about to take. So if you fall here, you should avoid all the damage completely, and you're going to head to the second furnace, which is the yellow light, which is ahead of this pillar there. You'll have some enemies to deal with at the beginning of the room, just like the other furnace. Let's start by finding the blue crystal with the valve. This unlocks the second crystal that you need to fight the optional at the end. And from here, I jump up and start climbing the path up. So normally you would need to take this path to the left, and you might need assistance to shut off the air jets. But I don't do that. I jump to this pipe here, kill the fire elemental, and then take his spot here, and you can use that to skip a large portion of it without needing assistance. Now, you don't have to kill the fire elemental. You can still jump where he's at to make it up there if you need to. Just killing him makes it easier. But you can just follow this path here, and you can kill this fire elemental. It's a good idea, especially if he's a champ that has like a dot, because that'll be very annoying to deal with as you go up. So I just recommend killing it every time. And then you're going to turn, jump on this pipe here. Follow this path here, and turn and jump on the platform here. And you are done with the second furnace. Now we're going to go to the power breakers area and turn those on. It's a little bit of a run from here, so I'll show you how to get there. So unlike last time, instead of crossing over, we're going to stay on this same ramp the entire way up until we get to the power breaker room. Try to avoid the force traps on the way, or hopefully having evasion will help you with this. Now this room is the power breakers, where you have to turn everything off. Main breaker room. You're going to see lots of levers and lightning here. And after you deal with the oozes, you would normally need to pull those randomly, but you can jump to the back of the room on the force field there. And if you tuck your character in just right, you can pull the lever through it, and you don't have to worry about pulling anything, and it's much quicker. There's a secret door here. There's a chest in behind, and it's trapped, and sometimes there's an optional shaman. I usually don't bother with it. I just get the secret door bonus. And to go to the main control room, I go up the ramp here. Avoid this acid trap again. And then I jump down to the northern cylinder and fall until you see the first open door, which is right here, which is the main control room. There's going to be some enemies along the way. Deal with the casters first. They're most dangerous, and then any other enemies you see. Make sure you break any eggs you see as well. They like to try to ambush in this quest, so try and look out for those on the side. If you have poison neutralization pots, that'll help remove any of the troglodyte stench and also protect you from it for 15 seconds. In this first area here, you want to destroy any of the oozes and or monsters off of the puzzles if you can, because if you kill them on the puzzle, sometimes it can be hard to see. And this area is already more difficult to see because it's dark. But it's a basic floor tile puzzle. Just solve them until they're all lit up on each of the corners. And for the southwest one, that is the solution. You can usually get through 2 puzzles before monsters start respawning, but they do respawn in this room. That is the northwest solution. I made the mistake of killing an ooze, so I'm going to move on to the southeast puzzle, and then I'll come back to the other one. That is the southeast solution. And now we're going to work on the northeast puzzle. And that is the northeast solution. Now that you have all 4 of those lit up, it's going to give you the objective to go to the Bilge Pumps and turn those on, and it's a short run from here. There's going to be enemies on the way back, so be prepared to fight. And on the exit of this room, immediately to your left, there is a resurrection and rest shrine if you need it. If you play carefully, you shouldn't need it, but it's available to anybody without going through any extra steps. And that's immediately to the left here. But we're going to continue on to the Bilge Pumps. It'll have you run by the furnaces again, but we're going to go ahead and skip that because we can't activate the last one yet until the Bilge Pumps are done. And the Bilge Pumps are right up ahead. And it's probably one of the easier rooms to take care of. And you'll encounter enemies in this area, so just clear them out and then pull the lever, and it's pretty much done. Make sure you get the breakables in the area. And then once you pull this lever, it's going to give you the next objective, which is to light the 3rd furnace. Break the eggs. And on the way back, there's a secret door here, and behind that door is another rest and resurrection shrine, should you need it. There are a total of 3 in the pit. This one's available at the secret door. The other one's available by the main control room. And the 3rd one is hidden behind a locked gate doorway in the 1st furnace. And you can see here the XP that you've currently earned once you complete the quest. And we're going to go back down to the 3rd furnace, which is right here. This section here is a little trickier than the other furnaces. You might actually need assistance getting up to the top. There's a couple ways you can do it. There's other methods. I know of 2 that I use, but there are other methods to get to the top. But you'll need to clear this section first, break all the eggs, kill the enemies, and of course, pull that valve for that final blue crystal so that you can do the optional at the end. But we'll go ahead and deal with these enemies first. And here is that valve we were just talking about. So this is the jet that'll send you up to that pipe there. And I'm going to try and zoom in here in a moment and show you if you can manage to get it to launch you all the way to the top. You'd land on that pipe, cross over, and jump onto that circular platform up above. So we'll try and do that. It didn't launch us all the way, which is fine. We landed on the pipe we needed to be on. But to show you, I'm going to drop down to the pipe that is on the east wall, directly to it. Jump there, jump up there. Deal with the enemy if you can before he hurts you. And then cross over to the circular platform. This is where you either need a partner or a hireling, which I just use Froggo if you have it available, or any hireling that you can use is fine. Park them there at that valve. Now you're going to cross over where that troglodyte shaman was. And we'll use this pipe here. And then Froggo can press the button. And this will launch you up to the platform where there's a fire elemental. And you can deal with them or leave them alone. And then jump over to this platform and pull the lever. Once you've done that, you've finished the last furnace. You can get rid of the hireling if you don't need it. Or keep the hireling if you feel like it'll help you for the rest of the quest. Which there's only one major room left. Deal with some of the oozes that spawn as you leave. And then we're going to make our way back. If you have Dimension Door available, you can use that here. And there's a quicker way up. You basically just drop down to that first ramp that you see from the beginning. And run up until you reach a bridge that crosses back behind you. But we unfortunately don't have Dimension Door, so I'm going to run from here. So you're going to follow this ramp up until you get to the cross section. And from there, we're going to take a right and cross over. And then follow that ramp all the way to the top. So we're going to cross here and try to avoid all the force traps, which I did not. And this room to the right is the starting area. So you would just follow this ramp up. And as you get to the top, you're going to turn and cross this little bridge here. Now this is a section where freedom of movement really helps because the priests try to hold you. But what I like to do is I like to grab all the aggro of all the creatures in the room. And if you move towards the waterfalls where the levers are at, it spawns more enemies. So I always try and spawn everything I can all at once and then move back to the top of the stairs. And I'll bring anything that can chase me up to me and back up so that the casters on the side of the room can't hit me. Deal with all the enemies here, especially the preachers or the casters first. They're the most dangerous, followed by the warlords. Yep, these are the things you need to kill. So take a moment to do that. Heal up if you need to in between this fight. And then deal with the casters that are spawning on the side of the room. There's typically 4 on each side on the upper level there. Sometimes there's 2. It just depends. But as you can see, there's 4 total. They spawn after you kill the first one, and then the next one comes out of the pipes there. So once you've done that, you're free and clear to pull the levers and break all the eggs in the room, which is my next step. And these levers are important because you can't complete the pit without pulling those. So we're going to grab both of those and then get the rest of the eggs in the room. Now, once you go to that green crystal valve here, more enemies will spawn. So you get those so you don't get ambushed. You can be the ambusher. And then break the final egg. And now you can pull that lever to get maximum experience for every thing that you can get in the pit. And it's quite a lot. You'll see more for me because I have a 50% pot running, which I recommend if you have it available. And you get a lot of XP. And then you can loot the chests. If you're interested in fighting the avatar of Juiblex, I will show you how to go fight him. If you're low on spell points, you can drop down to the first cylinder area at the bottom by the main control room and rest. I don't need to because I'm actually not going to use any magic versus him. But drop to the second southeast cylinder, which I'll show you now. And you're going to want to fall all the way to the bottom. And the gates will be open from the 3 crystals that you pulled. Now, he is immune to force, which I'll show you here in a moment. And so I'm using a throwing weapon. What I recommend, a crystal weapon or something that can help damage him. And elemental damage heals him, and he's immune to a bunch of different things. So I'm going to take off anything that would heal him. And I'll just show you some of the damage that you deal when you don't have really any buffs or any way to deal damage. And as you can see, he's immune to force. And he hits quite hard, which you'll see in a moment. So we'll try and kill him with the throwing weapon and see how that does. As you can see, it is taking a while. I would recommend sending like a fighter or somebody that does a lot of melee damage that has a crystal weapon such as ferrocrystal. So in my inventory, I'm just looking for ferrocrystal weapon and still trying to attack him, do some damage before he hurts me further. And I lucked out, and I still have a ferrocrystal Morningstar, which I'm going to use that to kill the avatar of Juiblex. And not bad XP for an optional. Here you can get luck and get a Muck Doom. I didn't pull one, as you can see, but that is how you do it, and that is the pit. Thank you for watching.